Did you know the word bully was initially a term of endearment? It used to mean sweetheart and it could be said to either sex, but it's thought to have initially been a diminutive form of the word brother. But things changed and the term moved from fine fellow to blusterer, which is basically someone who boasts and makes aggressive threats with no intention to actually follow it through, to a harasser of the weak. So, this term and the behavior that characterizes it has another dimension, though, because it's very difficult to hurt people if you don't have pain within yourself first. So, the bully isn't just attacking the weak for no reason. The bully was bullied. The bully is weak. Many children have painful upbringings, and while some heal from their suffering, others weaponize it. The bully weaponizes it. Bullying isn't confined to the schoolyard or the classroom or the school bus. It's as if school never ended because bullies take the same pain from childhood and use it in the boardroom at work or the living room at home. It's as if graduation never happened. But if so many of us have pain within, why do some of us internalize the pain while others externalize it? So, to an extent, it's a choice. Family history plays a role, as does one's temperament. And parents will note their child's temperament from infancy. Some babies are more shy and reserved, some are more irritable, some are more happy and social. We're all different, which is why our families are different. We have single parent households that try to make it work despite the limitations, but we also know those households that are bitter. Some nuclear families, they have a fake picture of perfection, while others actually talk about the issues that they have with each other. Some extended families are communities. Others are just a hotbed of various conflicts over various years. There's no prescribed formula for how to make a bully, but the conscious or unconscious decision to take one's own pain and inflict it on others would have to be made. Thus, the wounded child becomes the child who wounds. They do this because it's a defense against vulnerability. And vulnerability is seen as a threat. And who knows, maybe they're right. They may have grown or come from a family or community that sees honesty about how you're feeling as a weakness. Thus, to gain power, you have to demonstrate that you are strong by hurting other people. And the world, unfortunately, really does believe this. It believes that if you can harm others, that must mean that you're strong. But they can't see that it's actually the opposite. As I've said before, it's very difficult to hurt others without having pain within yourself first. And those with strength are actually very careful to not hurt others because they know how strong they are. So the longer the world takes to understand this, the more people are going to be abused. So this is why the masters of the martial arts always tell their students to use their skills as self-defense. Because when you can fight, the temptation to hurt others so you can just get whatever you want is just too great. But again, if you were even to do that, wouldn't that stem from insecurity? Fighting cannot get you everything. Social skills are also necessary. Academic performance is also necessary. Emotional intelligence is also necessary. Therefore, to harass, bully, molest, or hurt someone when they've done nothing to you is a strong indicator of insecurity and pain that begins first in the bully. So, it's come to my attention recently that bullying prevention is taught at the primary level, the elementary level, but forsaken at the secondary level. You can tell me if I'm wrong, right? But that's what I've heard. And if that's true, that's unfortunate because teenagers are trying to figure themselves out. And insecurity kind of seems like a rite of passage at this stage of life. Now, again, they don't have to externalize that pain. It might be internalized, but obviously that's not better. But it's especially true because these kids become adults who end up doing the exact same thing. They go on to externalize the pain, they go on to internalize the pain. So I don't know why schools don't do more to curb the violence, but I assume it's because it's just overwhelming. It's too much to handle, and the causes behind the bullying start from home. So, as far as they're concerned, that's just not their jurisdiction. And the governments can't really do anything about it either without actual home interventions. But even that could be seen as invasive. So, a pamphlet and a conversation at the community center or talk radio will have to suffice. Having said that, I think there's a third reason. I mentioned earlier that the longer the world takes to understand that powerful people actually practice restraint rather than punishment, the more abuse will occur. People see abusers as strong. They may not like them, but they like the supposed power that they have. Now, I've seen boys who have they've confessed their fears to me, but once they see someone who is quiet, reserved, keeping to themselves, they lash out at them. I reprimanded the act because the quiet kid needs to be defended. Quiet in and of itself is a good thing. Being loud is also a good thing. It just depends on the context. And I know I have strength, so I don't abuse the kid who's abusing the quiet kid. That would only reinforce being harsh and punishing as powerful. But I don't even feel the need to do this because I would only react in that way if I was abusive, if I was insecure, if I was scared, if I was in pain. And that's what I wish people would understand. Being abusive does nothing but telegraph insecurity. And once we know the bully is insecure, they may continue for a while. But when you don't react with fear, the same fear that they are trying to escape, they have no choice but to look within or to become social pariahs who refuse to deal with the problems that everybody except them can see. So whether it's boys or girls, individuals or whole countries, children or adults, trying to get status, trying to get attention, belonging, or an escape from pain by hurting others, by hurting people who did nothing to them, we see your insecurity. The only one who doesn't is you. And you can get the help you need, but you have to stop being in denial about being in denial. It's a tall order, I know, but as you continue to lash out, the weaker you become as the insecurity grows more and more, robbing you of the agency to attain the security you so desperately crave. So, just consider it.